Chapter 8. Captain Zavis immersed himself in the ancient texts, studying each aspect of the hunter's games with careful attention. The mind trials filled page after page with accounts of complex puzzles, tactical challenges, and tests of knowledge. Past participants wrote of decoding ancient transmissions, solving ship-wide emergencies, and unraveling mysteries that required both intelligence and intuition. The body trials, as expected, tested physical prowess, but not always in obvious ways. Combat challenges mixed with tests of endurance, precision, and adaptability. One account described a particularly grueling trial that combined void walking with target acquisition. The soul trials delved deeper, challenging participants' faith and resolve. Teams faced moral dilemmas, tests of brotherhood, and trials that required absolute trust in both the Emperor and each other. These seemed to carry special weight in the records. The heart trials appeared to be the most unpredictable. Each account described different challenges, but all centered on leadership, sacrifice, and the true meaning of being salamanders. Stories told of teams having to choose between personal glory and chapter honor. As he read, patterns emerged in successful strategies. Teams that triumphed weren't always the strongest or smartest. They were the ones that best embodied their chapter's values while adapting to unexpected challenges. Hours passed as he studied, the library's quiet broken only by the turning of pages and the soft hum of data slates. Each text revealed new insights into what his team might face and what it would take to forge them into a unified whole. Captain Zavis looked up from the ancient texts spread across the library table to find Sergeant Chorus standing nearby, a knowing smile on his scarred face. "You too, sir. Seems the whole fleet is abuzz about this secret," the sergeant said with barely contained amusement. Zavis set down the historical record he'd been studying, a detailed account of past Hunter's Games trials. Around him lay scattered data slates, maps, and personal journals of previous participants. "Not much of a secret anymore, I take it?" "No, sir," Chorus replied. "The Sword of Dawn selection boxes are practically overflowing, and rumor has it the chapter master himself is fielding a team." He paused meaningfully. "There's also talk about a certain captain's participation." "Sister Helena works quickly," Zavis noted dryly, turning another page in the chronicles before him. Diagrams of past challenges covered the yellowed parchment, along with notations about successful strategies. "Some of the younger brothers are already placing informal wagers on team compositions," Chorus continued. "Though officially, of course, I know nothing about that." "Of course," Zavis replied, his attention returning to the texts. The games had clearly meant something special to their chapter in the past, a way to forge bonds between ships and crews that went beyond normal void operations. The sergeant lingered a moment longer. "Good hunting, Captain," he said finally, a glint in his eye suggesting he knew more than he was letting on. "Please organize these and make a folder for them," Captain Zavis requested, presenting his stack of ink-stained parchment to the librarian. His hands bore the marks of hours of writing, dark spots of ink, testament to his dedication to the traditional methods. The librarian, a wizened chapter serf who had served in the library for decades, nodded appreciatively at the carefully written notes. He handled the parchment with practiced care, already beginning to sort them into proper categorical order. "Of course, my lord. Research into the Hunter's Games, I see." The old serf's eyes sparkled with knowledge. "Would you like them sorted by trial type or chronological order?" "Trial type," Zavis replied, watching as the librarian's experienced hands began arranging the pages with methodical precision. "And add any relevant historical references you think might be useful." "Very good, sir. I'll have them properly archived and ready for your review by morning bell." The serf pulled out a leather folder, its surface worn smooth by centuries of use. "Shall I mark these as restricted access?" "No need," Zavis answered. Let any who wish to learn from them do so. After all, he thought, knowledge shared was knowledge honored. Another tradition their chapter held dear. Chapter 9. Captain Zavis completed his bridge shift, his mind filled with thoughts of the challenges that lay ahead. The Hunter's Games trials kept replaying in his mind, tests of mind, body, soul, and heart that would push his team to their limits. Images from the ancient texts he'd studied flickered through his thoughts. Past champions overcoming impossible odds, teams learning harsh lessons about sacrifice and unity, victories earned through wit rather than strength. Each account offered insights into what his own team might face. The captain decided to try again later. Maybe it will be more quiet. He then made his way to the bridge. The day's shift was uneventful, just signing requisitions and staring into the void. Am I getting excited about these games? He wondered to himself. Captain Zavis sat in his command throne, signing requisitions and staring into the swirling colors of the warp beyond the viewports. The day shift had proven uneventful, giving his mind plenty of time to wander back to thoughts of the Hunter's Games. The routine tasks of ship command continued around him, crew members at their stations, servitors monitoring systems, tech priests performing their endless rituals of maintenance. But his thoughts kept drifting to team compositions, training strategies, and the challenges that lay ahead. The bridge's familiar environment suddenly seemed full of potential scenarios. How would his team handle an emergency here? What skills would each member bring to a crisis? Even the mundane task of signing requisitions had taken on new meaning as he considered resource management during the trials. Sister Helena had manipulated him masterfully into participating, but now he found himself grateful for her intervention. These games might be exactly what they needed to prepare for whatever awaited them in the Nephilim sector. Captain Zavis made his way to the training decks on the opposite side of the ship, deciding that perhaps some physical exertion would help clear his mind. The sounds of combat practice grew louder as he approached. The clash of practice weapons, the thud of bodies hitting training mats, the rhythmic count of exercise drills. The massive training chambers stayed active through all ship cycles, and even now warriors moved through their routines with disciplined focus. Battle brothers sparred in marked circles, while initiates ran combat drills under the watchful eyes of veteran instructors. The familiar smell of sweat and sacred unguents filled the air, mixed with the soft whir of training servitors, being reset for another round. Some Marines paused in their exercises to salute as he passed, though most remained focused on their training. He moved toward an empty practice cage, the anticipation of physical exercise already helping to clear his thoughts. After a day of bridge duty and games preparation, the prospect of simple, direct combat practice held strong appeal. Here, there were no complex strategies to consider, no team dynamics to balance, just the pure focus of warrior against target. The training servitor in his chosen cage activated as he approached, its basic combat protocols coming online as it awaited his command input.